Hi guys. So we are going to take about 7 minutes to talk about, it shouldn't even be that long, to talk about why we work in groups, right? So one of the things that we have to do when we're students, or even as adults rather, I should just say, is sometimes we have to put our efforts together and work in a group, right? And as much as no one really likes it, or some people rather don't enjoy working in groups, group work is one of those things that we must do. And the thing is, it makes us so much smarter when we're able to work together, right? So let's talk about how being a part of a group discussion can help you to get smarter and why that works, right? So we all see things differently. We noticed that yesterday when we did our I Spy activity. You know, we all were looking at the same picture, but we all saw different things. We all focused on different things. And it's very, very similar to what happens when we read a text, right? We read a text and we all focus on different parts of the text. Some of us focus on the characters. Some of us might focus on the events that happen. Some of us might focus on the setting, right? So we all focus on different things. The thing is, though, when we're working in a group, we have to take all of those differences in our experiences and our backgrounds and even the things that we focused on. We put all those things together and it gives us a bigger picture, almost like a puzzle, right? So you have an idea, I have an idea, you know, the other group member has an idea. So now we have 3 ideas floating around instead of just one idea. And of course, the more ideas we can have about a text, the smarter we will be about the text, the broader our perspective will be about the text, and the more we'll be able to understand how to go deeply in some of the deep things that are in the text, right? These multiple perspectives being exchanged widens our perspective, but we also build brain muscle when we have to push back on people, or if people push back on us. I'm sorry. When someone disagrees with our ideas, that's the way that we're building our muscle, because we have to figure out how to push back on that person. Just as how if someone presents an idea to us, we build that muscle by pushing back on their ideas as well. So think of, you know, it in that term, in that sense, where the more that we are building perspectives and kind of pushing back, we build that muscle and widen our expertise at the same time. All right? Now the thing about group work is that group work only works if you work it. If you're not going to diligently participate in a group activity, you're not going to get the outcome that you're looking for. So let's think a little bit about what good group participants do. If you're going to be a part of a group, you're going to eventually have to be a risk taker, right? Everyone has a tendency to get a little nervous when they have to speak in front of people. You might get a little sweaty palm, or you might start to get a little nervous, and that's quite okay, because we all have our different fears. And we know that people are listening to us and they might criticize us, so it's normal to feel a little fearful, but you have to be a risk taker. Regardless of how people might react to what you have to say, you have to live your truth, and you have to be willing to say that. So definitely consider being a risk taker if you want to be a good group participant. You also want to speak really clearly. You have to enunciate your words, or pronounce them clearly enough. That way people can understand exactly what you are saying. You don't want to talk too fast. You want to pace yourself. That way people can follow along without having to rush their own brains. So pacing is another important part of speaking clearly. You want to definitely stay on topic for the discussion. It is important that you don't veer off track and start talking about something that doesn't matter, because then you interrupt those connections that are being formed with the ideas by pulling people off task, all right? So definitely pay attention to what your comment is adding to the discussion, and make sure that you're not pulling the conversation into a different direction. Then we think about communicating. You have to communicate clearly in the sense that you have to make it make sense. When we listen to what you're saying, we want to make sure that when we hear it, we can say, oh, okay, I get what you're trying to say. So you want to form your ideas that you're gonna present in a clear manner, so that when you say them, we could understand what you're saying after, right? The next 3 is really about your attitude towards the group process. You want to be willing to have your ideas challenged. Everyone is not always going to agree with you. People might decide to push back and say you're not correct or it's not clear enough. And that's okay. It's all right for someone to disagree with you. You know that as well, because you reserve the right to disagree with people as well. So be willing to have your ideas challenged, not attacked, but be willing for someone to say, I don't agree with you, and that's quite okay. In relation to that, you have to also be willing to validate other people's ideas. You guys use this term all the time. Oh, that's valid, right? And that means that it is something that you can agree with when you hear it, or at least you can see the sense behind it. We don't agree with everything because they make sense. So this is not, excuse me, this is not about whether you agree or not. Validity is about you can see where it makes sense for someone to think like that, even if you don't agree. And lastly, you have to be really all into the activity. I've been saying, if you're going to go to the party and be the only person standing against the wall, then you're really not at the party. If you're going to be in a group activity, you want to be all in. You want to make sure that you are speaking, that your body language suggests that you're focused. You want to, I mean, you're online right now, so I can't say eye contact, but you want to make sure that your face is visible. You just want to be present, right? Not just in the group, but you want to be present in the moment and being a part of that activity and that group dynamic. And if we could do those things, then I think that we're well on our way to becoming excellent group participants. And thank you for taking this time to listen to me. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.